Hey guys, it's Maria.
This is Tim.
Today is Sunday, June the 17th, 2018. Welcome to our weekly recap.
And everybody, we apologize. It's been a couple weeks. I had a Dallas trip I had to do, then went to Florida for a week for vacation. So we are a little behind on webinars. So we're going to get back on track. This week, great week. Maria, before we get started, go ahead and tell us the closing numbers for Friday.
Sure. So on Friday, the Dow closed down 84 points and the closing number was 25,090. NASDAQ was down 14 points and closed at 7746. And the S&P was down 2 points and closed at 2779.
Not bad. We had quadruple witching, some more news for China tariffs, which the market seems to be kind of blowing off these days, the China news. So hopefully it continues to do that. Let's go ahead and get started. We got a few low float stocks, few options to go over. We want to kind of mix it up today. I did want to start, Maria, with TRXC. Go ahead and pull that one up for you guys. And that's actually had some flow as well, which doesn't happen really, really often. But
So here's the chart on TRXC. Doing really nicely right now. I have an area of resistance that we should probably keep an eye on. And that number is right around 380. So probably 380 to, let's say, 390-ish is a little bit of, you're going to run into a little bit of congestion through there. But love what it's doing. Still love the stock. Hoping to see or ready to see it bust through that resistance.
and four will probably be a little bugaboo just because it's a fat whole round number, and we know how stocks like to do with that, especially one that's went through two, went through three. Four will be the kind of the same thing. But this one, like I say, it has had some flow. We are still, this is always going to be on the watch list. This was in the first newsletter we've ever done, so we are big fans of TRXC. So I would say that 380 to $4, it clears $4. You may even add for a quick scalp on that one. Also, Maria wanted to go over VKTX, which
That
this
one's
one,
been moving for a while, huh?
yeah, and this is one of the things we want to talk about this week in this weekly recap, and we stress in the room constantly: 52-week breakouts, 52-week breakouts, and right here is a perfect example. You had momentum, I'm assuming news, and you had a 52-week breakout. And when they do that, they can just run. We will play those 99% of the time and hit 92% of the trade. So this is
And
one,
on
and I don't remember. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was gonna say on VKTX, I did play that breakout. I picked up some July $10 calls and I'm up 76% on those. Didn't pick up a lot, just like five of them, nothing big. But 76%, I'll take it.
Absolutely. Every time, all the time. And you've got some support right there, Maria. What's that number?
So your immediate area of support, I know it seems really far away. It's roughly, let's call it 11-ish, 1075 to 11 or so. That's where you're going to find a little bit more support. I do think you'll have a little bit of a lighter level of support around 1150 and 12.
I agree with that. But you can just see, and like she said, she's up 76% on this breakout, and she didn't catch that whole run. But this is just one of the examples we're going to show today, and we preach this over and over and over. Let's go ahead and pull up Facebook. Same thing. We
Yeah,
bought
Facebook.
Facebook July 195s on Monday. Told the room it's all in trade ideas, blah, blah, blah. And we expected that 52-week break. And we know we got ER coming, I believe, July 24th, if I'm not mistaken. I believe it's in that area. So we were expecting this break, and it kept just setting higher lows, higher highs, and was trending that way. And the second it broke, when they're yelling, guys, 52 break. And we caught $2 on that move that day, right? So,
Yep.
it moved more after it broke the 52 than before it broke the 52. Which in Facebook's case was an all-time high as well.
And where
So
was it
we are
when we
still in those
initially talked
contracts.
about it? Do you remember, Tim, when we initially talked about this? Let me maybe pull it up on a 6 month. We were talking about it. Actually, I want to say it was around 187.50. It kept
Mm-hmm.
hitting either 187.50 or it was right under 189. And we did play it once through there. It broke out. We made nice money on that. It pulled back, and that break of 190, this dotted yellow line, guys, that's the line that we were watching to play off of. And if you'll see back here on a little bit of a longer time period, I will highlight it. That was an area of resistance. It was also an area of support. So that 190 break, we played and we are doing nicely on those.
And we actually seen some flow. I don't know if this was a rollout or what. We're seeing some flows for September 240s. We did the math on that, and it didn't really, for us, it didn't make sense. Whoever bought it, I'm sure it made all the sense in the world. We're probably going to add some 215s for September Monday, but tons of flow on the September 240s, which to me, just mathematically, when I'm looking at the price of the 230 versus the 240, it looks like a 10 to 1 on your money by going 230. And then we kept going down the chart. And 215 is about where it made sense for us. So that's something we're looking at for Monday. Yeah, Maria, I think you just pulled that up. A lot of 240s going through. Another one I wanted to bring up, that was on the breakout list, right?
Yeah. So before we move on to
Um,
Facebook, just so you guys know, we did pick up 215 for September on Friday, and it's just a starter position, and we will add to that position over the next couple weeks. So yeah, definitely here are those 240s ask side sweeps. Not huge amount, right? Definitely not huge amounts, but they hit them enough times that it's interesting, right?
definitely was interesting. So that's what caught our attention. And actually, it was one of the members' attentions. Trader09 caught that, and we're like, oh, wow, good eye, because it had actually got by me and you, which is rare to do. But it did. And when he brought that up, we just started doing math in the room. We're like, oh, the 215s make more sense economically for us as a group. Just like I say, whoever bought the 240s, not dissing you, we all got our own styles. And we had another one that had broke out this week, 52 week highs, AMD. And while you're bringing that chart up, we did go ahead and sell our Julys and our Januaries and replace both positions with January 17s.
Here is a yearly chart on it, on AMD.
It's a nice break off of that high. And you know, I shouldn't say ever use the words you have to play those. We're going to play them every time. And again, we did sell our Julys and our Januaries. Now we have January 17s. We had 13s and 14s. Everything has moved up to 17s for January. There was a big rollout too on this one.
There was a big spread. So this was on the 14th. So Thursday, a large vertical call spread trading on NICE, where the January 1320 call spread was sold for 313 nearly 45,000 times. So that is, and it does also say that the 13s appear to close a long noted April 23rd when a buyer paid 85 cents for similar size tied to stock near $10. So yeah, that January 1320 call spread was sold nearly 45,000 times.
What's funny is it was that January, those January 13s at around $10 is what we followed into AMD.
I know, right?
So we crushed it. So I guess we're playing along with this guy for the second time. We bought our 17s on Thursday, and I guess he went 20s on Friday. But either way, yeah. So yeah, it looks like we're following the same guy again, or gal, whoever. So anyway, that's pretty interesting. But yeah, it was the January 13s that we followed at $10. I mean, we crushed those. We just sold those Wednesday or Thursday of this week. So that was a really, really good trade for us, and we are obviously AMD bulls. We had another one that just, you know, tracked. I mean, let's go ahead and pull up Twitter, and I want to talk about the suicide calls we started playing on Thursday. And I want to talk a little bit about what a suicide call is, because we got asked that question probably 1,000 times this week. Suicide calls to us are something that you look at and go, what? Why are they doing that, right? It's, not necessarily a lot of money, but in some cases it is a lot of money. But they're buying above the ask with something expiring either the next day or that day. So suicides start happening for us on Thursday. Friday is like really suicidal. So Twitter, they kept going above the ask expiring Friday. This was on Thursday. So we start yelling in the room, hey, suicides. And we don't play every suicide by any means. But these, with the chart and the momentum Twitter's had and the amount of these that was coming in, we're like, fuck, let's follow these. These were in the 40-something cents when I posted them on – I even posted these on StockTwits and Twitter. And then they hit 70 cents, and I'm like, guys, they're still buying these because they were still buying them when they had doubled up. Things hit $1.10 that day, and I forget where they hit on Friday. We sold on Thursday, killed it. Did you pull up some of those? Pull up some of the just above the asks on Twitter.
Yeah, I will. So those were the $46 calls. So this is on Thursday. So here's those 30 or the 46s that came in, started coming in around 44 cents. End of the day, I believe, or sorry, that's 46 and a half. They at one point hit 87, almost 88. And I believe that there were some that may not have been above the ask that still came in on those higher than that 87, 88 cent area.
So that's where the suicide was to us. I seen them hit $1.10 on Thursday. Was the last time I had tracked them. We got out of those at 100%. It was a pretty easy play for us. And look at Friday. I mean, they're still coming in on Friday. I think it sold off on Friday, which Twitter needed a break. But they were still buying some on Friday. And actually, they did pretty good on those before, everything kind of got funny. But that's a suicide call to us. And Friday, we're a little less suicide-ish. I mean, Thursday, we played BABA. Let's go ahead and pull up those BABA 210s that we had on Thursday. And I'm going to give you 4 examples, and we bought and sold all these on Thursday. BABA 210s above the ask. We're coming in and we're like, geez, I mean, these expire tomorrow. Again, I'm not saying you follow every flow that's above the ask, but we kept getting repeats. The chart was in our favor. The market was on fire Thursday, and you have to take advantage when you get all the stars lined up. The market's just rocking. The Nasdaq's just crushing it. And here again, you see these start coming in, these 210s. We went ahead and followed these guys. Not big amounts of money, but those contracts almost doubled. We got, I think, 60, 70% on those. On some of them actually broke even because I held a little bit too long. And then after I sold, it turns around and runs to 211 and change. And that's, I think, when they doubled. But we did good on the ones. So it wasn't the perfect trade for us. Amazon, same thing. Pull up Amazon on Thursday, Maria. And we need to talk about Amazon anyway, just because of the chart. But Amazon, we're like, wow, some of these are $500,000 trades expiring tomorrow. So what do? We're like, hey, they're willing to put in $500,000. We're willing to put in $1,000 or $2,000. Caught 20-25% on our Amazons, sold those. It was just a good day for suicides. Netflix, oh my God, the Netflix suicides Thursday and Friday. But we'll get to that in a minute. Let's look at this Amazon chart real quick. But yeah, you see those above the ask there expiring Friday. Maria, I know you wanted to talk about some support and resistance on this.
So Amazon, guys, 1,700 was a big number for us to get through. If you remember, let me go back maybe 20 days. This yellow dotted line, that is that 1,700 area. We crossed it at one point, came down below it, found some support not too far away, and it tested it again, kept bumping up against it, couldn't really get through it. It may have flashed through it at one point, and then bam, it broke through. So now let me get the 5-day. What I'm really, really, really wanting to hold, or the level I want Amazon to try to hold, is I have a line at 1713, but let's say 1710. 1710 is where I'd love to see Amazon hold. It may not do that, but I would love to see 1710 or higher as support, and then immediate resistance. We're going to go with the all-time high, which not this pre-market nonsense, but end of the day on Thursday, which was roughly 1725, right under 1725 if I remember correctly. So those are the areas we're looking for. And I do, I love the consolidation. Like, look at that channel on Friday. Nice consolidation. It did break to the downside, was bought right back up. Quad witching, all that fun shit that happens on quad witching, and in the afternoon. So sold off a little bit, but we did see some buying come in right into the close or close to the close. So I'm definitely keeping my eyes on Amazon.
I also wanted to look at Gurn, Maria. We've got a couple more low floats I want to throw in here, and I will get back to some more flow and suicides. But Gurn, this is one, I can't remember the member's name right now. He's had this for a while, just several thousand shares. And he's Rocky, I believe it's Rocky. And Rocky's just been killing this one.
So here's Gurn. Let me here it is on the 5-day. So we're watching. What we're going to call this area of resistance is going to be roughly we're going to say 535 to 435 to 450. Geez, I'm having a hard time talking today. So 435 to 450, I think you're going to run into some resistance through there. Here's what we're looking at. It was also a previous area where it was a little bit of support in through this candle. There is a little bit of congestion closer to that 450 area. So I would love for it to hold the $4 area, and I would love for it to get above that 450.
I agree with that. And just nice consolidation across there. Kind of saucerish, cupish, whatever you want to call it, just a little bit right through there. Keep an eye on that one. VRX. We had a lot of members crush this one too. Actually, while you're pulling up VRX.
And here's the chart on VRX. Gorgeous chart.
This goes right back to the 52-week high breakouts that a lot of this I want to stress this webinar on, because this is things we stress to the room every day. of the week, right? But we've never really stressed it on the webinar. The people that played the VRX break, and they're playing weeklies, right? And some of them will play longer term, but you're playing just a weekly real quick. And those contracts absolutely killed it when it crossed there. Absolutely killed it on the weeklies. And so, Maria, that's going to be the old 52 is going to definitely be a support level. Hopefully it doesn't go back down to there. What else on VRX to know? We've got some other lines where we played this before.
Yeah, we did. We have other lines where we played it. You'll see this really nice area of consolidation before it just broke out. This was a double, triple-ish top type of situation where, it hit it, couldn't get through that old 52, sold off, found support, sold off some more, and then decided to make its move.
Right off a flat top too. Right off.
Yeah.
Just nice consolidation.
That's gorgeous.
Swung up. Yeah, that's perfect.
And I thought I saw some blocks, some decent sized blocks coming through for January on VRX. So I also think that they do have some kind of event this week or the following. I think it's this coming week. They have some kind of event coming up. Not sure if it's data or what exactly it is. I'll have to check into it. But there is something going on with VRX, I believe, this week.
So that's just another example of a 52 break. And we're not talking about, you set a 52-week high on Monday and Tuesday you're breaking it again and Wednesday you're breaking it again. We're talking about these older 52s that's at least a couple months back, maybe even a month, but, something older, not fresh on everybody's mind. You have a lot of people watching for that. And that's something we're constantly, we've got thousands of eyeballs in our room. And if me or Maria or Teresa or any of the other moderators miss it, somebody's always like, VRX, and then we go pull it up. Oh, fuck, here's a break. And that's one of the advantages of having thousands of eyes and ears, in our room. So VRX, congrats, bulls on that one. And Maria, there's one more of, TNDM, and then I'm going to get right back to options.
So here is the chart on TNDM. Actually, I'm going to have to go back, I believe, 2 years on this. Yeah, here's your 2-year chart. This dotted yellow line is an area of support that I would love for it to hold. It has done beautifully. Hit a low, 2-year low, $2.14, and it closed at $19.91 on Friday. Here, this line right here that I have right around 20-ish, 20 to 20 and a half is an area of resistance, definitely, that it's going to have to get through. You'll see that this was previously, I know it's a little bit old, December of 2017, that is an area that was previous support and is now going to be resistance.
Yeah, and this is one we've been talking about. Even though we've skipped a couple of webinars, we've been talking about it for the last 2 that we did do. This one just keeps going for us. Maria, let's get back to Netflix. Now, Tuesday afternoon, it was down after hours, I don't know, a couple bucks, a few bucks, $5 or $6, because of the, merger news and everything. Everybody thought that was going to kill Netflix. The next morning, Wednesday morning, you have this upgrade from $3.90 to $4.90. And all of a sudden, Netflix has turned around. Netflix is gapping up. We started seeing flow in Netflix the second the bell opened. The second the bell opened on Netflix. And so we're looking at this, and this is one of the biggest plays we've had in a month as far as just instantaneous. I know y'all killed Google forever while I was gone, but as for me, Netflix, and we're sitting there. And I think we bought in the first 3 to 5 minutes after the market opened. The first thing I was doing was okay, because, Netflix had spiked up and then came back down, and I think it was 40 cents above the Tuesday close. And everybody's like, oh, it may go negative. And I'm just sitting there and I'm trying to decide which contracts. And then I go out to the next week and I'm like, fuck, those are high. By the time I come back to these contracts, the stock's up $2. So we went ahead and bought 370s. Expiring this week, and this thing just killed it. So we're in the 370s. Stock goes 374, 375. We're in these things at 367 and change. So we sell out. This thing flat tops for about an hour and a half at 370, 250. We jump back in the 375s and we crush that. But anyway, suicide flow again Thursday morning, right off the bat. You have suicide flow expiring the next day that we followed. So Netflix is another one that we got to follow some suicide flow on. And this thing just killed it all week. So congrats, bulls, on that. Congrats to the room. It was one really big play. I know Pete Pete made. I don't even want to say how much Pete made. Pete killed Netflix. A lot of people did. So yeah, a lot of
Yeah,
this
because
was.
he was in it. Like remember when we were all talking about it around 335, 338 or so? He's been holding
He
since
got
then.
when that break of the 332.50. Well, there was an old 52-week high break of like 338 and change, but we all seen that coming, and we started buying that at 332.50. And that break happened of the 338. I don't know, 338.80 or whatever, that 338.32. I can't remember. So that was a week sort of like what was talking about earlier this week on Facebook, where we seen it coming earlier in the week and got it that week. And then Pete, though, he went ahead and played this week. He still had those, but he went ahead and went directional on us and nailed some weeklies, which is unlike Pete, because Pete very, very meticulous about hedging his portfolio and keeping it neutral, this and that. He went directional with us and just rode it, never broke his trend line. So he just rode and rode and rode.
I know that on Friday alone, we played it Friday morning in the room, right off this low. Like we caught this right through here, and those were 200%, 235%.
That's true. That's right.
So that's just on Friday alone.
Yeah, Friday flow right there, total suicide calls. And yeah, that's the one I missed because I'm in the room. Yes, you played it. I didn't on Friday. And I cussed myself all the way through lunch. I said I should commit suicide for not playing suicide calls because I said it in the room. It came out with 390s in the first 30 seconds. There was 390s above the ask. That's, the market was looking funny. We had CNBC trade war this, trade war that. We got quadruple witching. I'm like, guys, I'm gonna give it 15 or 20 minutes to settle down. You're like, fuck it, I'm in. You went ahead and went right with it Friday. I'm still trying to find my balls from Friday. But you kicked ass on that one. Absolutely. Talking about flow, I want to pull up, Maria, you had a couple of things you got out of this week, JD, and I believe it was Etsy, right?
So yeah, okay. So Etsy is actually kind of interesting. Let me get Etsy's chart pulled up really quickly so you guys can take a look on it. They changed some things and then up their guidance because of those transactional changes or something like that. I don't remember exactly what the article said. This was back, let me go back on this was on May the 23rd. So back on May the 23rd, and Pete's the one that actually saw it. I was seeing just some really, really light flow come in. And then he said that he saw like just small little lots being bought on Etsy, like just like five contracts, 10 contracts, 20, like really, really small amounts. And we jumped in those and we've been holding on to them. I actually did take profit on some of them. We luckily were in Etsy prior to this huge move. I wish I had held mine just a little bit longer. I ended up selling mine way too soon on Thursday, but that was 544%.
Yeah. Nice trade. I mean, 544%. That's mind blowing to a lot of people because they're going 544%. If you don't trade options, it's hard to get those kind of percentages, right? It's hard to get those percentages in options. But that was an example of, people ask, well, how long do you guys hold? And it's like, well, it depends. It could be 15 minutes. It could be 15 days. It could be 6 months. I mean, we've got shit out to January now. So
I'm actually mad that I sold some of them. Like I really didn't have a reason to sell them except for the fact that it was hitting highs. That's typically what I do. If I see a new 52-week high, I might let it ride for a little bit, like a couple minutes, but once it hits the 52, I start taking a piece off. Like I'll take a little bit off and lock in some of the profit, and I will leave a couple in or, a little bit in just in case it continues to go. But I was down to 2 contracts, and I wish I'd had the original number of contracts that I had on Etsy. And I think JT, he had bought not too long ago, maybe a week prior. He bought those for what, 80 some cents or something like that, and those hit $8 and change.
Yeah, he had just crazy amount percentage on that. JT did. That was incredible. I think he actually broke the record. Awesome. Or no, maybe it was Baba. He broke the record on this week, but he hit some crazy amount. But yeah, Etsy, this was one Thursday morning. I'm getting all hyped. Pre-market memory is talking about it. We talked, an hour before the market opens every single day, except that one day she didn't wake up, but we won't talk about that. But yeah, it was up $3, and I'm reading the news, and I'm going, okay, play of the day. Then it's up 6. Next thing you know, it's up 10, and I'm telling the room, we get a pullback. We'll play it. We never got a pullback. Someone went ahead and played it. I didn't because, again, it was one of those things where, I just wanted some kind of pullback for an entry. But, yeah, there's the news on it. Go ahead and read that to us.
Sure. So this was, they revised their full year 18 guidance due to an updated fee structure, and that was going into effect on July the 16th. So these, I don't want to read through all the details. It's a lot of numbers. You can read them here, but it is, I mean, I like Etsy as a stock. I've played it multiple times. I'm just happy I was in it. I happen to be in it at this time.
JD, that was another one you had a massive trade on that you've been holding for a while. And a lot of people in the room were holding because it was right there from Trade Ideas. What was that, 4, 5, 600% as well?
Yeah, let's go 1 year. Here's the 1 year chart on JD. We picked those up. Here's the confirms. We bought those on 523. We paid 71 cents for them. I actually sold, this was out of one of our smaller accounts that, I only bought a couple. It's not like I bought a whole bunch of them. I bought just a couple of them. Paid, 140 some dollars, 150, whatever for 2 contracts, and sold one of them for 310 and one for 505. So 523 would have put us. And then we were red on them. Because I remember in the room, a lot of people had posted it in the room, and I kept getting DMs. Like my DMs were blowing up. People were like, "Are you still holding this? Are you still holding this?" And I'm like, "Yes, I'm holding it." I'm like, just hold on, just hold it." So we did. We held it. It made a new, I believe that was a 52-week low. And from there, it just kept going. And then I got a lot of DMs asking, why did I hold on to it if it was turning against me? So there are certain situations, such as this one, where I know I've only spent less than 150 bucks for a couple of contracts, right? Granted, they were red. I wasn't going to ignore the flow that was continuing to come in. So if I see something that's reversing, granted, I got in a little bit early, but I'm seeing that even through, oops, sorry guys, even through this downturn, because again, we bought 523, which was back here where my crosshairs are. We were okay for a couple days. And then it started turning red. Even through this red, we were seeing people come in and buy, right? So for me, that kind of told me like, all right, well, if they're willing to buy it into a 52-week low, price could potentially reverse. And considering the fact that I didn't have very much invested into it, I wasn't too worried about it. I was like, well, it's 150 bucks. If I lose it, I lose it. I'm going to let it ride out. I'm going to let it ride. I have until July. Let's see what it does.
And a lot of times we see flow into weakness, and that's some of the flow I like to follow. PayPal. Remember we got the PayPals in the low 72s?
Oh, yeah.
Actually, the flow started coming in at 74s and 75s, dropped down to 72. We held through that, and the flow even got bigger. So we were following some $4 or $5 million flow at 74, 75s. It dropped to 72s. The flow just got better. We held through that. We bought into the weakness, which is, hey, Buffett and a lot of people tell you to do that. Does it work every time? No, nothing works every single time. But, we held through the PayPal, and God, we got paid on PayPal. There again, they were buying into weakness. So
and I'm still holding
situation with JD.
I'm still holding some of those PayPals out to October. And I was in so low, we picked them up on that. If it was Amazon news that hit them that day, I think it touched the 200 MA, and we jumped on it right then. As soon as that flow started coming in, we picked that up. So I am still holding some of those. I've sold some of them, but I'm holding some of them. Now, I did have questions about why did I sell my JD when I sold it? And I sold it just a little bit early. I could have waited until the end of the day. I think it was Thursday. Was it Thursday, I believe? I could have waited till the end of the day to sell it, but I didn't. I ended up just going ahead and taking it. So what I was looking at, guys, is the fact that I know that this is an area where we're at, this 43, 75 to 44 is an area of resistance. It's been resistance, it's been support prior. There is plenty of room to go up to that 52-week high. I do plan to add JD back, but I wanted to take my profit on that one, on the July calls. They were so deep in the money on top of that point. I mean,
right.
I'd rather just replace them.
This is true. Let's go ahead and get up Nvidia, Maria. That's one of your favorites, of course, always.
So here's Nvidia, guys. And I am still holding August 260s and August 270s. I actually considered selling my 270s on Thursday, and I kind of wish I had. I did not. I'm still holding those. I do think that Nvidia will get another run. Where do I want Nvidia to hold? Let's look and see. So here's a 6 month. Here's the line. And actually, I'm going to move that line up a little bit. I really want to see 260 or higher.
Yep, I completely agree. We're pretty big time Nvidia players and Nvidia bulls, but I agree with you on that 260 all the way.
And
And good
yeah, I
job
mean,
on
we've
those
been
calls.
playing Nvidia. Like, just so you guys know, we're not new to Nvidia. We've been playing Nvidia. I've been playing Nvidia since it was either the high 30s or low 40s. Tim, I know, has been playing for just about as long.
Since
Uh,
$28 was the
yeah,
first
there you
trade.
go.
We got in after hours one day on earnings, and I think we played it from like 28 to 31 one afternoon when Black Box, 2.5, 3 years ago. And then, the biggest run we had two big runs on Nvidia actually. When it was had that ERs and was in the 70s, and I told everybody, I'm like, this will be 100 before Christmas, and everybody laughed at me. Even in Black Box, they laughed at me. So at 77 that day, I put my money where my mouth was, and sure enough, we got more than 100 by Christmas. Then we had that run spring of last year when Bree and everybody, we just, that was, had went back under in the hundreds, came back, and we were buying, I think 115 calls that morning, and the damn thing was 130 the next day. It's insane. We've had some sick
Yeah.
runs on Nvidia, so we will never ever quit playing Nvidia. We play it short too, but we're bulls regardless. And that's the thing. Some people don't get. It's like, well, because we played some puts on Baba the other day, and they're like, well, why are you playing puts on Baba when you're bullish? Hey man, listen, the chart says it's bearish today. I'm going to play puts on it. I can catch 100% today and still ride my 225s for September or August, whatever they were. One has nothing to do with the other. I could be a long-term bull and intraday short on anything. It's not personal. It's just business. So again, good job on that Nvidia, Maria. Also, Google. Y'all been killing Google for even when I was on vacation and when I was in Dallas. Y'all just been killing Google. The Kang. I know the Kang played it every day last
Oh my
week.
God. Look at how many lines I have on here. Please ignore some of these lines. I'm sorry. I thought I had taken most of them off. Here's a 5-day view of Google. Let's see what 10 days does. I know there's a shit ton of lines on here. These lines are not nearly as relevant, so I will go back and remove those after this webinar. Let's go 5 days. So yes, we did catch Google, and we were talking about Google under, when was it, Tim? Was it under 1100?
You got me.
I want to say
You got me.
1100. Under 1100, we kept talking about Google. We kept saying like Google, not that it wasn't like a laggard, but it was like a lot of the FANG stocks were getting a lot of love. Like they were moving, and Google was just like, meh, whatever, not really doing much. So we had been eyeing that, and we did play it quite a bit while you were gone, while you were in Dallas, and then in Florida, and then go 5 days. Here's the 5 day on it. This area, 1160, is an area that it's going to have a little bit of hard time getting through. I do like how it closed on Friday. So as far as support is concerned, 1157 to 1158 is kind of where I'd love for it to hold, and that's really, really short term. A little bit longer term, you get kind of go down a little bit on that. But I'm definitely keeping an eye on Google.
Just a couple more that we'll hit real quick that we've played some flow on this week. Apes Mary. IB brought to attention Wednesday. IQ.
Yeah.
Maria, I don't think you played it huge. You followed her into IQ.
I did. She sent me a DM on right before the close. Like right before the close, she sent me a DM and she said, look, volume's starting to come in. It was right here in the last couple minutes. And I literally, I hit that buy button with like 10 seconds to go or maybe 20 seconds to the bell. I picked that up, and that was a beautiful play. I picked up some weeklies, which I sold on Thursday. And then I had also picked up some July calls as well that I am still holding for the time being. So we'll see what happens with those on Monday. And just so that you guys can see, I don't have a screenshot from the first part of it, the weeklies that I sold. Actually, I might somewhere, but this is, I took the screenshot today. So the P&L for today is showing is 0 because, nothing's open. But right now I'm currently up 106% on those July calls.
And a lot of people played those Thursday, just got in right there at the open. Some people got in Wednesday. So that was a good one. Roku, tons of flow. I don't put much on StockTwits, but even I had to put the Roku flow because it was just gorgeous. It was really pretty flow. That was another one we played off flow this week. Let's go ahead and pull that up real quick. God, look at that week. I mean, the flow told you it was coming too. Jesus, that was pretty. Another one we played, Maria, and I'm not supposed to play Tesla. I'm like grounded from the room in Tesla.
Well, before you move on to Tesla, really quickly on DBX, Spectre caught this, I believe, on Wednesday. He caught the flow, or he kept saying DBX, DBX, DBX. He said it like 3 or 4 times. I was like, fuck it. I bought some. How many contracts? I bought 5 contracts, and those are up
I was going
281.
to say you had 5 contracts on
Yeah,
DBX, and it's a great job, Spectre. That's 281%. I mean, in a
yeah.
few hours. Or did you swing that one, or did you sell it the same day?
I'm
I don't
still
even
holding.
remember.
I'm still holding this.
Yeah. So, you know, people think, oh no, this isn't possible. Listen, it happens. We have losing trades too. Don't get me wrong. Everybody has losing trades. Anybody that says they don't, they're lying to you, or they've only
Yep.
traded 2 times and just hadn't had
Right.
one yet. So that's possible too. And before we get to Tesla, Maria, there was another, Roku. That was another one with Monster Flow, DBX. Let's look at Tesla, which I am grounded from playing, but this week we had to, Monday morning it was the play right out of the gate. Monday and Tuesday, actually, it was the
Yep.
first place for me out of the gate that I got to yell at the room was Tesla, Tesla. And we played it and continued to play it all week. We even played some suicides, I believe, on Tesla. Matter of fact, I know we played suicides on Tesla. Actually, if you got a confirm on those would be great too.
This was Tesla I had on Friday morning.
Friday morning Teslas.
Yeah. So those calls definitely move.
So again, people could say never trade a weekly or a daily expiration. And listen, until you're experienced, you probably shouldn't. We tell the room all the time, listen, if you're not used to getting in the pit with cobras, don't go slap one around. We even have a video we play of it. So, this is a lot of experience that comes into a confirm like that. Maria's been doing this for 13 years. She's been trading options pretty much that whole time. So a weekly expiration to us is just second nature. Just like we get asked a lot, are you bearish or bullish in the market? Who cares? As long as it opens, we're going to trade something up, down, whatever. I don't go to bed with any preconceived notion of anything. We've got a few longer term swings. So overall, I'm generally hopeful bullish in the market, but how it wakes up next week or Monday is really irrelevant to me because we're going to play it either way. Tesla up, Tesla down. So congrats, bulls, on Tesla. What a week. We played that, I think, every single day this week.
Yeah, we caught at least one trade on it every single day. Obviously, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday were the best days. We did catch a couple of small trades on Tesla on Wednesday, but monster week. And here's the thing, here's what kills me is we don't even like swinging Tesla. Like, there's other stuff we'll swing, do like an overnight swing on, but even on overnight swings, we tend to shy away from swinging Tesla because it's Tesla, right? You never know what's going to happen with it. And we actually even swung some contracts a few days.
Yep. And we've even got a 400, and it's only one of them, but we even bought a 400 expiring the 29th. I forget why we even came up with that because that seems a little it's considerably out of the money, especially for me and Maria because we don't really play a lot of out of the monies.
We're not
That's
that far
how you
out of
get
the
burnt.
money.
Right, and we tell people all the time, there's a couple ways to lose your account in options. A, playing too quick of expiration, which we're guilty of, but again, we do this every day. This is how we make our living. So, but what they do is they'll buy too far out of the money on something, and they don't understand the decay, and they won't give themselves enough time to be that far out of the money. So, if a stock's at $300 on Monday, don't be going and buying 375s for Friday. Can they get a bump? Yes. The odds of it are really thin that you make anything off of it. Can you? Yeah, we kind of recommend not doing that. So when we do play these weekly expirations, we might play slightly out of the money on a weekly expiration, but usually we're at the money, maybe a strikeout. Don't do a whole lot of in the monies, maybe some, depends on the stock, but for the most part, we're playing at the money and some out of the money, like, with those suicides that we followed. Shit, we followed them. It is what it is.
Right.
Maria, that's really all I've got. I don't have a whole lot more this week to talk about. Just want to invite people to come hang out with us. Come hang out with us anytime. We give anybody that wants one a week's free trial. No DNA, no credit card, no children we have to hold as hostage. We don't ask you for anything. What's your name on StockTwits or Twitter? How'd you hear about us? Good. Come on and hang out. If it's for you, great. Stay. If it's not, hey, no hard feelings. Maybe you learned something. Maybe we learned something.
And then before we go, I did have a lot of questions on MU. I do have a couple of calls left on MU out to July. I will probably hold on to those. I got in those under 50, so I am actually still looking okay on those. I wish I had gotten out earlier. I did not. That was a mistake that I made, which, it happens. So I held on to those a little bit longer than I should have. I am still in them. Small position, nothing huge. ER this week. Red Hat also has ER this week. We have a couple of ERs. FedEx, I believe, Oracle. So we do have we have some, or BlackBerry's also reporting this week. So we have some ERs this week to look forward to. But aside from that, that's all I have. Like Tim said, guys, come hang out with us. There's so much skepticism out there about algo-based systems and chat rooms and stuff like that. And I will tell you that I was one of those skeptics at one point until Tim got me to try out Black Box. And that was when was that, Tim? 2016?
November 6th, 2016.
There you go. And ever since then, I am Team Black Box. I mean, it's above and beyond having all of the tools and resources that totally make my trading life easier. I would never give up trading with this group of people. Like, they are absolutely phenomenal. So, especially if you're a skeptic, come and hang out with us for a week. Let us show you what we do. Aside from that, if you have not liked subscribed to our channel, please go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Like this video, please share it. We hope you have a great evening, and we will see you tomorrow. Take
And
care.
happy Father's Day. Happy
Happy
Father's Day,
Father's
everybody.
Day. That too. Happy
Yeah.
Father's Day, guys. We will see you
All right.
later.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.